Absolutely. Here's an easy to understand summary of the chapter with deep explanation broken down step by step. I'll explain each important idea, add examples, and make sure no confusion remains. Super detailed and simple summary. Introduction to Macroeconomics. Part 1. Microeconomics versus macroeconomics. What is microeconomics? Micro means small. It studies small units in the economy. One person, one house, one factory. It's like, how much will one person spend on clothes? How many bananas will one fruit seller sell? What price should a shopkeeper sell milk for? What is macroeconomics? Macro means big. It looks at the whole economy, the entire country. It asks big questions that affect everyone. Instead of one person or one shop, macroeconomics studies all people, all businesses, all prices, all jobs, the government's role in the economy. Part 2. What questions does macroeconomics try to answer? Macroeconomics is like asking about the health of the whole country. 1. Will prices go up or down? Inflation or deflation? When most things, food, petrol, clothes, become more expensive, we call it inflation. Example, last year milk was 40 litre, now it's 60 litre. When prices fall too much, it's called deflation. Why it matters. Inflation reduces the power of your money. Poor people suffer more because they can buy fewer things. Macroeconomics tries to find why prices rise or fall, how to keep prices stable. 2. Are people getting jobs or losing jobs? Employment. A country is doing well when most people have jobs. When many people want jobs but can't find any, it's called unemployment. Macroeconomics checks how many people are working, in which sectors, farming, factories, offices, how many are jobless. It helps understand which areas or industries need help, what can be done to create more jobs. 3. Is the economy healthy or unhealthy? Growth and output. To know if a country is doing well, we measure GDP, gross domestic product, total value of all goods and services produced in the country in a year. If GDP increases, the country is producing more. This is good. Other important tools. Inflation rate, how fast prices are going up. Unemployment rate, what % of people don't have jobs. Macroeconomics uses these tools to say the economy is growing or the economy is slowing down. 4. What can be done to improve the economy? Government policies. Macroeconomics also studies what actions can be taken. Can the government help poor people? Should the government spend more on schools, hospitals, roads? Should taxes be reduced? Should taxes be reduced to help people spend more money? Should money be given to farmers or small businesses? These are called economic policies, decisions made by the government to fix problems in the economy. At part 3, how things in the economy move together. In the real world, everything is connected. Example, when one part grows, others grow too. Let's say farmers produce a lot of wheat this year. Food becomes cheaper. People save money. They use that money to buy clothes, shoes, phones. Factories get more orders. Factories hire more workers. Workers earn money and spend it again. This is called a positive cycle. Example, when one part falls, others fall too. Let's say many factories close down. People lose jobs. They stop buying things. Shops earn less money. Shops also close. More people lose jobs. This is called a negative cycle. Macroeconomics watches and studies how everything moves together to help stop bad cycles and support good cycles. Part 4, why macroeconomics is important for everyone. Macroeconomics is not just for economists or government. It's for everyone, because we all live in the economy. If prices rise, it affects your shopping. If jobs are lost, it affects your family. If the economy slows down, it affects your future. Macroeconomics helps us understand what is happening, know what's wrong or right, make smart decisions as people, voters, workers and students. Final recap table, super simple. What it means, simple example. Microeconomics, study of small parts, one shop, one buyer. Study of the whole economy, all shops, all people. Inflation, prices going up, milk becomes costlier. Unemployment, people without jobs, no job even after applying. GDP, total production of goods and services, everything made in India in 1 year. Government policy, actions taken to fix or improve the economy, giving jobs, lowering taxes, giving subsidies. Economic cycles, how parts of economy affect each other. More farming, more spending, more factory jobs. Would you like a visual diagram, comic strip, or flashcards of this next? I can make learning this even more fun and clear. Absolutely. Let's go even deeper, but still keep everything super simple, like explaining to a very young kid. We'll go step, line by line, with more example, easier words. Let's make this so clear that anyone can understand. Big idea. We are trying to understand how macroeconomics, study of the whole economy, becomes easier when we use one imaginary product instead of thousands of real ones. 1. What is aggregate? Aggregate is a big word that simply means total or overall. Aggregate output equals total things made in the country. Aggregate price level equals average of all prices in the country. Aggregate employment equals total number of people with jobs. Example, imagine a country makes only 3 things, 100 apples, 50 pencils, 200 bricks. Instead of saying all that, we say the aggregate output is whatever the total production is. It's like looking at the whole basket, not each item. 2. What does it mean when all these things move together? This means if production of apples goes up, usually pencils and bricks also go up. If jobs in one place drop, then jobs drop in other places too. Prices of apples go up, others rise. Why is this important? Because if everything goes up or down together, we don't have to study each one separately. That makes our job easier. 3. What do we do to make studying easier? We create one imaginary product. It's not real, but it acts like all real things combined. This one item is called a representative good. It represents the whole economy. We look at its price, its production, and its jobs. These things show what's happening to everything in general. Example, imagine the country makes rice, shoes, bicycles, soap. Instead of studying each, we imagine just one thing called product X. If product X's price goes up, we say, price is increasing. Fewer people in product X. We say, jobs are going down. So this imaginary product makes it easier to understand the whole economy. 4. Why can we do this? Because when one thing's price rises, others usually rise too. When people lose jobs in one factory, other factories may also be losing workers. So many things behave the same way at the same time. This makes it safe to study just one item instead of hundreds. Now 5. What happens during big events like inflation or depression? Let's understand these 2 words first. Inflation, prices go up fast, things become expensive. Depression, jobs and production fall a lot. Less is made, more people are jobless. During these times, almost everything changes together. Prices of food, clothes, petrol all go up. Many companies stop hiring or shut down. So again, our imaginary GUEX helps us see what's happening. If its price jumps equals inflation. If its production stops, equals depression. Even though it's not real, it tells us what's happening in real life.
Let's use a super simple story.
Imagine a toy store that sells 100 different toys. You want to know, are toys getting more expensive? Are toy makers hiring more people? Are they making more toys? But looking at all 100 toys is hard. So you make up one pretend called Toy X. You pretend this toy is like all toys together. You check, is Toy X's price going up? Are more or fewer people making Toy X? Are more Toy X toys being made? And this one toy tells you about the whole store. That's exactly what macroeconomists do with a country. Summary, as simple as it gets. Studying thousands of real products is hard, but if all their prices, jobs, and production move together, it's okay. So economists create one imaginary product that stands for everything. We study that one product to understand the whole economy. This is a smart and easy way to see if the country is doing good or bad. Would you like me to make a cartoon-style diagram of this idea? Or turn this into a fun storybook-style version? I can do that. Sure, here's a great detail explained in very simple and clear words so that anyone, even someone with no background, can understand it fully.
Summary in easiest words.
In macroeconomics, we often try to make things. One way we do that is by imagining the economy as if it only produces one single kind of product. This is called using a representative good. It helps understand big ideas like total income, total output, and overall prices in a quick and easy way. But this simplification doesn't always work. The real economy is made up of many different parts, called sector. Sector behaves differently and sometimes even affects or competes with other sectors. For example, sector agriculture, the factory sector, industry, the services sector like banks, schools, hospitals, and even groups like households, businesses, and the government. These sectors are connected to each other. One can help, to depend on, or even hurt another. To understand how the economy really works, it's important to look at each sector separately sometimes, instead of only looking at the total. Also, different products and workers are not the same. For example, growing wheat on a farm is very different from making a car in a factory. A company manager does a very different job than an accountant, so using just one pretend product or one type of worker can hide important differences. That's why economists sometimes use a few different types of goods instead of just one. Usually, they divide all products into three big groups. 1. Agricultural goods, things that are grown, like rice, vegetables. 2. Industrial goods, things that are made, like machines, cars. 3. Services, things that are done for people, like teaching, banking, repairing. Each of these groups has different ways of producing things, technology, different costs and prices, different effects on jobs and income. So macroeconomics also tries to understand how much each group produces, output, how their prices change, inflation or deflation, how many people they employ, employment, unemployment. This helps economists see the economy in a clearer, deeper, and more realistic way. Why this is important? It reminds us that real-life economies are complex. It helps us avoid making wrong conclusions by oversimplifying. It helps governments and businesses make better decisions by understanding how different parts of the economy really work. Would you like a chart, diagram, or even a story to remember this better? I can do that too. Here is a great detailed summary of the explanation written in the simplest and clearest, so even a complete beginner can understand and remember it easily. Detailed summary, microeconomics versus macroeconomics. 1. What is microeconomics? Micro means small. It's individual people and businesses. It asks, what do people buy? How do companies set prices? How can sellers make the most profit? How can buyers get the most satisfaction? Examples of microeconomic questions. Should I buy a chocolate or an ice cream with 50? How much should a tea seller charge for a cup? How many workers should a company hire to make more profit? In microeconomics, consumers want to be happy with their spending. Producers want to make as much money as they can. It focuses on demand and supply in one market at a time, like the rice market or mobile phone market. Even a big company is micro because it only cares about its own success, not the whole country. Match that 2. What is macroeconomics? Macro means large or big. It looks at the entire country's economy. It asks, why do prices rise everywhere? Inflation? Why do people lose jobs? Unemployment? Is the country growing or shrinking? GDP, gross domestic product. Examples of macroeconomic questions. Why is petrol getting more expensive across the country? Why are so many people jobless in a city? Is India's economy getting stronger this year? 3. Key difference between micro and macro. Aspect microeconomics, macroeconomics. Focus small units, individuals, families, firms. Whole economy, country level data. Main players, buyers and sellers, government, central bank, national economy. Questions: what to buy, what to sell, why is there inflation or unemployment? Examples: price of apples, salary of a worker, national income, inflation rate, unemployment rate. Goals: maximum personal benefit or profit, economic growth, stability, and full employment. Microeconomics does not change or control big things like inflation or joblessness. It just takes those things as fixed. The only time micro tries to look at the bigger picture is in something called general equilibrium, when supply equals demand in every market, not just one. Final simple thought: microeconomics equals one tree, macroeconomics the whole forest. Both are important, but they study the economy from different points of view. Let me know if you'd like this turned into a chart, diagram, short story, or comic strip to make it even easier to remember. All right, let's break this down word by word, line by line, in the simplest way possible, like I'm teaching a very young child. I'll use super easy words and simple examples to help you understand perfectly. What are economic units or economic agents? Line 1. By economic units or economic agents, we mean those individuals or institutions which take economic decisions. Simple meaning: economic units or economic agents are just people or groups who make money decisions. These can be people like you or me, groups like companies, banks, or the government. Example: if you decide to buy a toy, you are an economic agent. If a bank gives a loan to someone, the bank is also an economic agent. Line 2. They can be consumers who decide what and how much to consume. Simple meaning: a consumer is a person who buys and uses things. They decide what to buy: chips, juice, clothes, etc. How much to buy: 1 bottle or 5. Example: if you buy 2 chocolates instead of 5, you are making a consumer decision. Line 3. They may be producers of goods and services who decide what and how much to produce. Simple meaning: a producer is someone who makes or provides things. They decide what to make: bread, bicycles, haircuts, etc. How much to make: 10 loaves or 100 loaves. Example: if a baker decides to make 50 cakes today, that's a producer's decision.
Line 4.
They may be entities like the government, corporation, banks, which also take different economic decisions like how much to spend, what interest rate to charge on the credits, how much to tax, etc. Simple meaning: some big groups like the government, like a country's rulers, a corporation, big company like Apple or Tata, a bank where people save or borrow money. These also make important money decisions. They decide how much money to spend for roads, schools, what interest rate to charge, extra money you pay back on a loan, how much tax to take from people or companies. Example: if the government spends money to build a hospital, that's their decision. If a bank says you must pay 5% extra when you take a loan, that's an economic decision. If the government adds tax on soft drinks, that's also their decision. Summary: economic agents are anyone, person or group, who makes money-related decisions. There are 3 main types. 1. Consumers, who buy and use things. 2. Producers, who make or provide things. 3. Institutions, like government, banks or companies, who plan spending, taxes, interest, etc. Extra example to help you understand. Imagine a small town. You decide to buy a chocolate. You are a consumer. Mr. Sweets, the shopkeeper, decides to make and sell chocolates. He is a producer. The bank in town gives loans to people. The bank is an economic agent. The government collects tax and builds a road. The government is an economic agent too. All of them are economic agents, making choices about money, buying, selling, making, and spending. Let me know if you'd like a drawing or story to remember this better. All right, Let's now learn this line by line, word by word, in the most simple and easy way, like I'm teaching a very young child who is hearing this for the first time. I'll explain everything using basic words and clear examples, so you never forget it. Line 1. Macroeconomics tries to address situations facing the economy as a whole. Very simple meaning. Macroeconomics is a big word. Macro means big. It is about big things in the economy, not small things. It looks at the country's economy, not just one shop or one person. Example, if we want to know how many people don't have jobs, unemployment, why prices of many things are going up, inflation, or how much money the country is earning, GDP, we use macroeconomics. Line 2. Adam Smith, the founding father of modern economics, had suggested that if the buyers and sellers in each market take their decisions following only their own self-interest, economists will not need to think of the wealth and welfare of the country as a whole separately. Very simple meaning. Adam Smith was a very smart man. He lived a long time ago and helped start modern economics. He said something interesting. If each person, buyers and sellers, thinks only about what's best for themselves, then everything will work out fine for the country too. So economists, money experts, won't need to worry about the country's total money or happiness. Example, you buy candy because you want it. The candy shop sells it because they want to earn money. Everyone is happy and business grows. According to Adam Smith, if every shop and every person does the same, the whole country becomes richer automatically. Line 3. But economists gradually discovered that they had to look further. Very simple meaning. Later on, other economists found out something else. Just thinking about each person or each shop is not enough. Sometimes the whole economy has big problems that individuals can't fix. Example, even if all candy shops and buyers are doing their best, something bad might still happen, like many people lose jobs, unemployment, prices become too high, inflation, the government doesn't need deficit, or banks lending money. So economists said, we need to look at the big picture. We need to study macroeconomics to fix big problems. Big picture summary. Macroeconomics is about the big money picture of a country. Long ago, Adam Smith said, if every person and shop just does what's good for them, the whole country will. But later, economists realized that's not always true. Sometimes big problems happen even when everyone is trying their best. So we need macroeconomics to study and fix problems like unemployment, inflation, country's total money, government spending, economy slowing down. Easy story example. Imagine a school. Every student studies hard, self-interest. Every teacher teaches well, self-interest. You'd think the whole school will be perfect, right? But what if the school building is broken, or there is no clean water, or the whole class fails a test even though they studied? Then the principal, like a macroeconomist, has to look at the big problem and fix it. That's why macroeconomics is important, to make sure the whole economy works well, not just one shop or one person. Would you like me to draw this as a fun chart or give a quiz to remember it better? Here is a great, detailed, and very easy to understand summary, entire explanation above. Summary. Why macroeconomics is needed in simple words. 1. Adam Smith's idea, old belief. Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, believed if every person does what's best for themselves, the whole country's economy will be fine. Example, a seller wants to earn, a buyer wants to eat. Both win, no need for government help. 2. But economists found problems in real life. Economists later realized that the real world doesn't always work like that. They saw 3 major problems. Problem 1. No market exists for some important things. Sometimes there's nothing to buy or sell, but those things are still very important. Example, clean air. Nobody owns it, so there's no market for it, but we still need it. The government must step in to protect it. Problem 2. Market exists but doesn't work properly. Sometimes the market is unfair or doesn't balance supply and demand. Example, Too many people want jobs, but not enough jobs are available. Or factories pollute rivers to save money, people suffer, but the market doesn't stop them. Problem 3. People want to do good for everyone, even if there's no profit. People want education, healthcare, jobs, security, and good government. Make money. Markets don't do this on their own, so it asks the government to help. These are called social goals. So what do macroeconomists do? Macroeconomics looks at the entire economy and helps the government decide how much to tax, plan how much to spend, control money supply, set interest rates, manage jobs, wages, production, and growth. How is macroeconomics linked to microeconomics? Microeconomics studies small parts, one person, one business, one market. Macroeconomics studies the whole economy, but macro uses the small parts, micro, to understand and fix big problems. Why is this important for countries like India? India has many poor people, unemployed youth, and lacks good education and healthcare for all. The government must act. The market won't fix this alone. Macroeconomics helps create jobs, build schools and hospitals, support defence, ensure good government services. Main point. Macroeconomics is needed when the market alone can't create a fair and happy society. It helps guide the government to make life better for everyone, especially in developing countries like India. Let me know a super short version for quick or a quiz to test your understanding. Absolutely. Let's break down this entire concept slowly, step by step, in the most simple, child-friendly language ever. I will explain each idea with examples so it becomes super clear for you. Big question. Who makes the big decisions in a country's economy? And what do they do? Why do they do it? 1. What is macroeconomics? The word macro means big. The word economics means money, work, trade, and resources. So macroeconomics means studying the big things happening in a country's economy. Examples of big things. How many people have jobs? How much money is in the country? How much does food or petrol cost? Is the country growing or struggling? 2. Who makes the big decisions in macroeconomics? These are called macroeconomic decision makers or players. They are not normal people like you and me. They are big, important bodies like, the government. They make rules. They collect taxes. They decide how to spend money on hospitals, roads, schools, etc. B. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI. It is like the main bank of all banks. It controls how much money is there in the country. It sets interest rates, how much extra money you pay when you borrow. C. Securities and Exchange Board of India. It looks after the stock market, makes sure everything is safe, fair, and not cheating. What do these players do? What are their jobs? They do not try to make money for themselves. They are not shopkeepers or primen. The goal is to help the whole country. They try to do things that make life better for everyone. 4. Let's compare to normal people. Normal people, like you, me, shopkeepers, want to earn more money, want to spend less, want to buy things that help them. This is called self-interest. We do things for ourselves. But the macroeconomic players like government and RBI want to help the whole country, want to reduce unemployment, want to keep prices under control, want to make health and education better. This is called public interest. They work for the good of all people, not for themselves. 5. How do they help? With simple examples. A. If many people don't have jobs, the government may start new projects, build roads, bridges, so people get hired. B. If prices are rising too fast, the RBI raise interest rates, so people borrow less and spend less. This slows down inflation. C. If farmers are suffering, the government may give subsidies, extra help or money, so they can grow crops. D. If schools and hospitals are lacking, the government may spend money to build more schools and clinics. They plan and use money in ways that help everyone, rich, poor, young, old. 6. Why are these decisions important? Because sometimes just letting people act on their own isn't enough. Markets don't always work perfectly. Let me show you. Example, if nobody builds hospitals in villages because there's no government has to step in and build them, that's a macroeconomic decision for the good of the people. 7. What makes macroeconomic players different? Normal people. Macro to follow. Think about themselves. Think about everyone in the country. Try to earn money. Try to create jobs, peace and progress. Don't care about public goals. Have laws and rules to follow. Work for personal needs. Work for national needs. Final summary in the simplest words. Macroeconomic players are big helpers like the government and RBI. They make decisions not for money, but to help the country grow. They care about jobs, schools, prices, hospitals, roads, etc. They fix problems that people or businesses cannot solve alone. They are not selfish. They do things for everyone. This is why they are different from shopkeepers or buyers. Would you like this explained in a story format, comic strip style, or with a real-life example like a superhero team running a country's economy? I can do that too. Alright, let's now learn about John Maynard Keynes, one of the most important people in the world of economics, in the most simple and clear way, like I'm teaching a young child. I'll go line by line, word by word, using easy examples and making everything as clear as the sky. Who was John Maynard Keynes? Line 1. John Maynard Keynes, British economist, was born in 1883. His full name was John Maynard Keynes. He was from Britain, the United Kingdom. He was a person who studied and worked in economics. Economics means the study of money, jobs, trade, and the economy. He was born in the year 1883. Line 2. He was educated in King's College, Cambridge, United Kingdom, and later appointed its dean. He went to King's College. This is a famous part of Cambridge University in the UK. He studied very well there.
Later,
he became the dean of the college. A dean is like a principal or leader in a college. Line 3. Apart from being a sharp intellectual, he actively involved in international diplomacy during the years following the First World War. He was not only smart in books, a sharp intellectual means very intelligent. He also helped in big world talks. This is called diplomacy. Diplomacy means helping countries talk and solve problems peacefully. After the First World War ended in 1918, he helped in world discussions to make peace and rebuild countries. Line 4. He prophesied the breakdown of the peace agreement of the war in the book, The Economic Consequences of the Peace, 1919. He prophesied. This means he predicted something would happen before it actually happened. After the war, many countries signed a peace agreement, like a peace deal. But in his book called The Economic Consequences of the Peace, written in 1919, he said, this peace deal won't last long. He thought the deal was too harsh on Germany. He believed that if one country liked Germany too much, they would become angry and poor, and that could cause another war. He was right. World War II happened about 20 years later. Line 5. His book, General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, 1936, is regarded as one of the most influential economics books of the 20th century. In 1936, he wrote a very famous book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. This book changed how the world thought about economics. Before Keynes, people thought the economy will fix itself. But Keynes said, no, sometimes the government must help, especially when people don't have jobs. He explained, when people don't have jobs, they don't spend money. When money isn't spent, businesses shut down. So the government should spend money, like on roads, schools, etc., to give people jobs. This will restart the economy. This idea is now called Keynesian economics. Line 6. He was also a shrewd foreign currency speculator. He also worked with foreign currencies, money from different countries. A speculator is someone who buys and sells currencies or stocks to make a profit. He was shrewd, meaning he was clever and smart in doing this.
Extra summary,
Just like a story. Let me tell you like a mini story. Long ago in 1883, a very smart British boy named John Maynard Keynes was born. He grew up, went to Cambridge University, and became a big teacher. But he didn't just teach, he also helped countries after World War I. He said, "This peace plan is bad, it will cause trouble later." And he was right. In 1936, he wrote a super famous book that said, "When people have no jobs, the government should spend money to help." His ideas were new and powerful. He also made smart money moves with foreign currencies. Today, people still learn from his books and ideas. He changed the world of economics forever. Would you like me to explain what was in his book, like how his ideas help when a country has unemployment or recession, in a very simple, cartoon-style explanation? I'd love to. Of course, here's a great detailed summary of your text, written in very simple, clear words, step by step. Detailed summary in each words. 1. The Great Depression happened in It was a very bad time when factories stopped making goods and many people had jobs. It mainly hit Europe and North America countries, but slowly it also hurt the rest of the world. 2. Demand for goods fell. People had less money, so they bought fewer things like food, clothes, cars. Because fewer people were buying, factories shut down. Many workers were fired, lost their jobs because factories didn't need them anymore. 3. Unemployment high in the USA. 1929, only 3 out of 100 people were jobless. By 1933, 25 out of 100 people were jobless. This is called a 25% unemployment rate. 4. Output production also dropped a lot. The total goods and services produced in America fell by about 33%, 1/3 less than before. 5. Economists realized they needed new ideas. The old way of thinking couldn't explain why the economy stayed broken for so long. They understood that unemployment could last for many years, not just a few months. 6. Keynes brought a new way of thinking. A very smart economist, John Maynard Keynes, wrote a book to explain how economies work. Instead of looking at small parts separately, Keynes looked at the whole economy together. He showed that different parts of the economy are connected. Factories, workers, shops, farms, all depend on each other. 7. Macroeconomics was born. From Keynes's work, a new field of study started. Macroeconomics. Macro means big, so macroeconomics studies the entire economy, not just small parts. Even simpler one-line summary. The Great Depression made millions, broke economies worldwide, and forced economists like Keynes to create a new way of studying the whole, called macroeconomics. Would you also like me to create a small mind map or chart, summarizing it visually? It can make remembering it even easier. Just say, "Make a mind map." Of course, I'll now give you a great, detailed, clear and simple summary posted. I will cover all important points, connect everything smoothly, and make it beautiful to understand. Here's the best possible detailed summary. Detailed, simple summary. The chapter is about how the economy works in a capitalist country. A capitalist country is a place where most businesses are owned by private people, not by the government. In these countries, production, making goods and services, is mainly done by private businesses called capitalist enterprises. These enterprises are run by entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is a person who takes important decisions for the business, like what to make and how to sell it, takes the risk. If the business fails, they may lose. Entrepreneurs need things to run their businesses. 1. Capital, money, machines, tools needed for production. 2. Land, space to build factories or offices. 3. Labor, people who work and help produce goods. Capital can come from their own savings or by borrowing money from others, like banks. Land can be used up, like wood, oil, cotton, which are consumed while making products, or fixed, like a plot of land, which is used again and again. Labor means The workers who do the actual work, like operating machines, building products, selling items, etc. After using these three things, capital, land, and labor, the entrepreneur produces goods or offers services. They then sell these in the market. When they sell products, they earn money. This total money earned from selling is called revenue. The entrepreneur then uses the revenue to pay rent for using land, interest if they borrowed money, capital, wages to the workers, labor. Whatever money is left after paying all these things is called profit. Profit belongs to the entrepreneur. They can use this profit in two ways: keep it for themselves or reinvest it into the business, like buying new machines, opening new factories. When they spend profit to grow the business, it is called investment. Investment helps the business to produce more goods in the future.
In short, tiny points.
The economy we are studying is of capitalist countries. Businesses are owned by private people called entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs need capital, money, land, and labor, workers, to produce goods. After making goods, they sell them and earn revenue. From revenue, rent goes to landowners, interest goes to lenders, wages go to workers. The leftover money is profit. Profit is often invested to make the business bigger. Super easy example. Imagine you open a lemonade shop. You need money to buy lemons, sugar, cups, capital. You need a small place to set up the stall, land. You need someone to help you sell lemonade, labor. You sell lemonade and earn money, revenue. You pay rent for the land, pay interest if you borrowed money, and pay wages to your helper. Of course, I'll now give you a great detailed summary in very clear, organized, and easy to understand words. Here's your full detailed summary. Summary of the passage on capitalist economy. 1. What is a capitalist economy? A capitalist economy is a system where most economic activities are done by private individuals, not by the government, for earning profits. People own businesses, factories, tools, land, and other things needed to produce goods or services. Main features of capitalism: private ownership of means of production. Individuals or companies own the land, machines, factories, etc. The government does not control or own most of them. B. Production for the market. Goods and services are made to be sold in the market, not just for personal use. Making things to sell and earn money is the goal. C. Wage labor. Workers sell their work, labor, to the owners in exchange for wages, money. Labor is treated like a commodity, something that can be bought and sold. Number 3. When did capitalism start? Capitalism is fairly new in human history. It began around 100 years ago. Capitalism, people mostly lived by farming for their own needs, not for selling goods. Nap 4. Where is capitalism found? True capitalist economies are found mostly in a few developed countries. Examples: USA, Canada, UK, Germany, Japan, South Korea. In many developing or poor countries, capitalism exists only in some parts. 5. Special case of poor, underdeveloped countries. In many poor countries, farming is mainly done by families themselves. Wage labor, hiring workers, is rare. Most crops are grown for self-use, not for selling. Families usually don't have many machines or tools, no big increase in capital. In tribal societies, land is owned together by the whole tribe, not privately. Now 6. Firms in capitalist economies. Firm equals a business or company that makes goods or services. A firm is managed by an entrepreneur, the business owner. What the entrepreneur does: hires workers, pays them wages, uses machines, land and money, produces goods or services, sells them in the market to earn profits. Running a firm always involves risk. Sometimes the goods don't sell well. Profits can go up or down. 7. How incomes are earned in capitalism. In capitalism, everyone earns money by being part of production. Workers earn wages, landowners earn rent, Capital owners earn interest. Entrepreneurs earn profits. All incomes depend on making and selling goods or services in the market. Super simple final recap table, very simple explanation. Capitalism, people own businesses, make goods to sell, earn profits. Private ownership, people own land, factories, tools themselves. Production for market, goods are made mainly to sell, not to use at home. Wage labour, workers sell their work for wages. Entrepreneurs, business owners who take risks to earn profit. Firms, businesses that produce goods or services. Poor countries, farming mostly done by families, not much selling. Tribal societies, land is owned by everyone together. Then in one-line summary, capitalism, individuals own businesses, hire workers, make things mainly to sell in markets, and aim to earn profits, with risk always involved. Would you also like me to create a mind map or flowchart of this? It will help you remember everything even faster. Want me to? Of course. I'll even deeper, explain it even more line by line in the simplest, easiest English, and add more simple examples. I'll treat you like you are completely new to the topic, like I am your best teacher. Let's start again even more carefully. Hashed, ultra simple full explanation. Have 1. In both developed and developing countries, apart from the private capitalist sector, there is the institution of state. Every country, whether it is rich like the USA or poor like Nepal, has 2 main parts. Private sector. This is made up of private people and private businesses that want to make money. State government. This is the official group that runs the country and works for the people, like making laws, schools, hospitals, etc. Example, private company, private sector. The police department is run by the government state. The role of the state includes framing laws, enforcing and delivering justice. What does the government state do? Framing laws means making for everyone. Enforcing laws means making sure people follow the rules. Delivering justice means punishing bad people and protecting good people. Example, government says stealing is illegal. Law, police catch thieves, enforce law. Judge punishes thieves, justice. Hammer 3. The state, in many instances, undertakes production. Apart from imposing taxes and spending money on build public infrastructure, running schools, colleges, providing health services, etc., the government does more than just making laws. It builds things like roads, bridges, airports. It runs schools and colleges. It builds hospitals and gives free or cheap healthcare. It collects taxes, money people pay to do all this work. Example, government collects money from people, tax. It uses that money to build a public park where everyone can play. 4. These economic functions of the state have to be taken into account when we want to describe the economy of the country. When we talk about how the country's economy is doing, we must also look at what the government is doing, not just businesses. Example, if the government builds a huge railway, it also grows the economy. Hammer 5. For convenience, we shall use the term government to denote state. From now on, state equals government, same meaning to make it easier. Hammer 6. Apart from the firms and the government, there is another major sector in an economy which is called the household sector. Besides businesses, firms and government, there is another big group, households, meaning people or families. 7. By a household, we mean a single individual who takes decisions relating to her own consumption, or a group of individuals for whom decisions relating to consumption are jointly determined. A household can be just one person buying things for themselves, or a family deciding together what to buy. Example, a student buying food is a household. A family buying a car together is also a household. Households also save and pay taxes. Households, people and family, buy food, clothes, etc., save money, keep money in banks, pay taxes to the government. Example, your parents earn money, save some in the bank, and pay taxes to the government. 9. How do they get the money for these activities? But where does the household get money to do all this? Let's find out. 10. We must remember that the households consist of people. Households, people like you, me, your family, neighbours, etc. Nasha 11. These people work in firms as workers and earn wages. People work for companies and get paid. The money they get is called wages or salaries. Example, your uncle works in a factory and earns wages every month. 12. They are the ones who work in the government departments and earn salaries. Some people work for the government too, not just companies. They also earn salaries. Example, a government teacher or policeman earns a salary from the government. Now 13. They are the owners of firms and earn profits. Some people own businesses instead of working for others. They earn profits, money left after selling and paying all costs. Example, a person who owns a clothing shop earns profits. 14. Indeed, the market in which the firms sell their products could not have been functioning without the demand coming from the households. Businesses make things to sell, but if people, households, don't buy, businesses cannot survive. Example, if no one buys mobile phones, mobile companies will close down. 15. Moreover, they can also earn rent by leasing land or earn interest by lending capital. Households can also rent out land or houses and get rent money, lend money and get interest. Example, your family gives a house for rent and earns rent every month. He deposits money in the bank and earns interest. 16. So far we have described the major players in the domestic economy. Till now, we talked about the inside economy within the country, businesses, firms, government, households, families. Now 17. But all the countries of the world are also engaged in external trade. Countries trade with other countries. No country lives alone. Example, India sells tea to other countries and buys oil from them. 18. The external sector is the fourth important sector in our study. This trading with other countries is called the external sector. It's the fourth important part of the economy. 19. Trade with the external sector can be of two kinds. There are two main types of trade with other countries. 1. Selling goods to other countries, exports. 2. Buying goods from other countries, imports. Now to 20. 1. The domestic country may sell goods to the rest of the world. These are called exports. When our country sells things to another country, it is called an export. Example, India exports spices and tea to the USA. 21.2. The economy may also buy goods from the rest of the world. Imports. A country buys things from another country. It is called an import. Example, India imports crude oil from Saudi Arabia. 22. Besides exports and imports, the rest of the world affects the domestic economy in other ways as well. Not just buying and selling. The world affects our economy in more ways too. 23. 3. Capital from foreign countries may flow into the domestic country, or the domestic country may be exporting capital to foreign countries. Money for business capital can move between countries. Foreigners invest in our country, money flows in. Our companies invest in other countries, money flows out. Example, Amazon, USA, invests and opens warehouses in India. Indian company Tata buys hotels in the UK. Final quick super simple summary. Easy example. Firms, businesses making goods and services, a car company. Government makes laws, builds schools, hospital, government builds a road. Households, families that buy things, save, pay taxes. Your family buying groceries. External sector, trade and capital with other countries. Selling tea to USA, buying oil from Saudi Arabia. One-line ultimate summary. The economy is like a big team game where businesses, government, people, households, and the rest of the world all work together, making things, buying, selling, saving, paying, and trading. Would you also like me to now draw a super simple cartoon picture or flow chart to make it even faster to remember? It'll be very cute and helpful. Should I make that too? Of course. I will now explain this word by word, line by line, as if you are a total beginner, step by step, in the easiest, clearest English possible. I'll also add simple examples and extra helpful ideas so you really understand everything perfectly. Here we go. Ultra simple, super easy, full explanation. Macroeconomics deals with the aggregate economic variables of an economy. Macroeconomics is a big word. Let's break it. Macro means big, economics means the study of money, jobs, business, and goods. So macroeconomics studying big things about the whole country's economy. Aggregate means total or overall. Economic variables are things like total money, people earn income, total goods made production, total jobs, employment, total prices of things. In short, macroeconomics looks at the big picture, like how all the people, all the money, and all the businesses are doing together. It also takes into account various interlinkages which may exist between the different sectors of an economy. That means it thinks about, or interlinkages means connections, or how different parts are tied together. Sectors are different groups in the economy. Households, families and people, firms, businesses, government, state, external sector, trade with other countries. Simple example, if people, households lose jobs, they buy fewer things. Then businesses, firms earn less money. Then the government collects less tax. Everything is connected like a chain. Macroeconomics studies these connections. This is what distinguishes it from microeconomics, which mostly examines the functioning of the particular sectors of the economy, assuming that the rest of the economy remains the same. Distinguishes means sets it apart or makes it different. Microeconomics, micro means small. Microeconomics looks at small pieces, like just one shop or one person or one company. It studies how that one thing works. It assumes hence that the rest of the economy stays the same. Simple example, microeconomics studies just one bakery and how it sets prices. Macroeconomics studies all bakeries, all jobs, all food prices together. Macroeconomics emerged as a separate subject in the 1930s due to Keynes. Emerged means came out or was born. In the 1930s, about 90 years ago, macroeconomics became its own subject. Keynes, pronounced Keynes, was a famous economist from Britain. His full name was John Maynard Keynes. He had new ideas about how to fix big economic problems. Simple example, before 1930, people mostly studied small economics, micro. After Keynes, people started looking at the whole economy, macro. The Great Depression, which dealt a blow to the economies of developed countries, had provided Keynes with the inspiration for his writings. The Great Depression equals a huge economic disaster that started in 1929. People lost jobs, businesses closed, banks failed, many were poor and hungry. Dealt a blow means hurt badly. Developed countries, rich countries like the USA, UK, Germany, Keynes saw all this sadness and thought, we need new ideas to save the whole economy, not just small parts. Simple example, imagine if all the shops in a city closed and everyone lost jobs. That's what the Great Depression felt like. In this book, we shall mostly deal with the working of a capitalist economy. This book will mostly talk about capitalist economies. Capitalist economy equals people own businesses. People work for money. People buy and sell freely. Simple example, in India or the USA, people open shops, factories, companies. That's capitalism. Hence, it may not be entirely able to capture the functioning of a developing country. Hence means because of that. Not entirely able to capture means it may not explain everything perfectly. Developing country, a country that is still growing, it may have more poor people. The government may own more things like factories or banks. Simple example, the economy of America, a rich country, and the economy of Nepal, a developing country, are not the same. This book focuses more on rich country style capitalist economy. Macroeconomy as a combination of factors, namely households, firms, government, and external sector. Combination means a mix. Sectors with groups. Macroeconomics divides the whole economy into 4 big groups. Group meaning, easy example. Households, people and families, you and your family. Firms, businesses making things, a shoe company, government, the rulers who make laws and build roads, schools, the Indian government, external sector, trade with other countries, India buying oil from UAE. Simple example. Imagine the economy is like a football team. Players, households, coaches, referees, government, other teams, external sector, all play together to make the economy work. HAP, super easy final summary. Macroeconomics study of the whole economy, big picture. It looks at connections between people, businesses, government, and other countries. It is different from microeconomics, which looks at small parts only. Macroeconomics became famous because of Keynes during the Great Depression. This book mainly talks about capitalist economies like USA, not fully about growing countries. The economy has 4 parts: households, firms, government, external sector. One line, simple, ultimate summary. Macroeconomics is like looking at the whole forest, not just one tree. Would you also like me to draw a super simple cartoon diagram showing us working together? It would help you remember it even faster. And should I make that too? Of course, I'll now give you the Ncert star definitions for each term you correct, as used in official Ncert economics books, like Class 11 and Class 12 economics. Let's go through them one by one. # definitions. Term NC style definition. Rate of interest. The rate of interest is the price paid for the use of borrowed money, usually expressed as a percentage per annum. Wage rate. Wage rate is the payment made to labour per unit of time, per etc. For profits. Profits are the excess of revenues over costs. It is the return to the entrepreneur for bearing risks and organising production. Economic agents or units. Economic agents are individuals or institutions who take economic decisions, like households, firms, government, and the external sector. Great Depression. The Great Depression refers to the severe worldwide economic crisis that started in 1929 and lasted till the late 1930s, leading to widespread unemployment and fall in production. Unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is the percentage of people in the labour force who are willing to work at the existing wage rate but are not employed. 4 factors of production. The 4 factors of production are land, labour, capital, and entrepreneurship, which are used to produce goods and services.
Means of
production refer to the physical non-human inputs like land, factories, machines, and tools used to produce economic goods. Inputs. Inputs are the resources such as land, labour, capital, and entrepreneurship used in the production process to produce outputs. Land refers to all natural resources used in the production of goods and services. Labour refers to the human effort, both physical and mental, used in the production process. Capital refers to man-made resources like machines, tools, buildings, and equipment used in production. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the ability and readiness to develop, organise, and run a business enterprise along with taking its risks to make a profit. Investment expenditure. Investment expenditure refers to the purchase of goods that are not consumed today, but are used in the future to create wealth. Wage labour. Wage labour refers to workers who sell their labour power in exchange for wages. Capitalist country or capitalist economy. A capitalist economy is an economic system where the means of production are mostly privately owned and production is carried out for earning profits.
Firms.
Firms are economic units which employ factors of production to produce goods and services to sell in the market. Capitalist firms are firms owned by private individuals or shareholders aiming to earn profits. Output refers to the total quantity of goods and services produced in an economy over a given period. Households refer to individuals or groups of people who supply factors of production, like labour, and consume goods and services. Government is the political authority that makes laws, enforces them, and provides goods and services to the people. External sector refers to the part of the economy that deals with foreign trade involving exports and imports. Exports are goods and services produced domestically and sold to buyers in other countries. Imports. Imports are goods and services purchased from other countries to be used domestically. Important notes, NCERT style. In NCERT books, definitions are short, factual, and to the point. NCERT also explains terms inside the chapters with examples. Some terms like means of production are more emphasized in Class 11 Indian Economic Development and Introductory Macroeconomics. Great Depression, unemployment rate, capitalism, etc. come up while explaining economic history and macroeconomic issues. Would you also like me to provide the exact line-by-line NC quotes from the books, or a small table showing which Ncert book plus chapter each term is explained in? It can make your notes perfect for exams or deep understanding. Should I do that for you? It'll take just a few minutes.